Hello everybody, my name is Chase and welcome to a video. Today I'm doing Master Duel because WCQ just started like 12 hours ago at this point. So yeah, so right now I'm running through, I'm going to show a couple of gameplays basically. I'm running through the Pendulum deck that I did a video on a couple of days ago, with the exception that I changed out Ignister Prominence for Savage because I find that an Omni is just probably gonna come up way more often than a non-destructive removal. So as you can see, I was playing until like a couple of minutes ago. As you can see, it's not that great. There's a lot of loss here, but there's still a couple of interesting things that happened that I want to showcase. So let's get right into it. And hopefully my computer doesn't give out on me this time. I try my best to lower a bunch of settings on OBS, but still gonna be a bit of a lag eventually. So I'm really sorry about that ahead of time. We go second here, and we're playing against Tier Elements as our first matchup, which is I'm very surprised by because this is low D level. And usually at this level, you face more rope decks than actual meta tier decks. And here already, our opponent's already done like the wrong thing because you're supposed to just add with Paralino your Rhino Heart and normal summon your Rhino Heart to check for Max C. I guess they just weren't worried about Max C in this situation. And this is also another wrong card to play, quote unquote. It's like an unexpected die, quote unquote. Which is just, I mean, if you mill this card, it's not going to do anything for you. And like the conventional tier Shizu list is just so tight already. And that you usually have no place to run cards like these. But yeah, the minute I saw Terraforming, I immediately toggled off to hide my DD Crow, and they didn't really see this coming. So I just crowed the Sharon here, and it would seem that they just do not have any follow-up plays because they just summoned out the halfness that they search, which confused me. And I would find out why. Of course, we top deck evenly, just the best player in the world. And here, there's something very interesting. It's mass change. So this is actually like a bit of an it does like out quote unquote our evenly match. It does leave them with a pretty potent board. They had to discard Max C because I find out that the reason why they normal summoned Halfness is because they needed to not just discard a card but also target a face-up monster they control that has the same attribute as their Dark Law. Obviously, that's what they're going to summon. Rhino Heart's a water, unfortunately, so they couldn't even try to keep the half this in hand or chain Max C and stuff like that. So literally, Dark Law would have killed us if we hadn't opened the one-off Albus. Other than the fact that I really love this sweet boy, Albus, this is the reason why the Albus package is so good. Albus himself, even if you top deck him as a brick, he is just a super poly at home, except they can respond to buy. And of course, the opponent top decks Rhino Heart. Only fair after we top deck our own evenly matched. It's fine. This allows them to trade for the board, basically. And they're just praying at this point for the Pendulum deck to brick. And we're just going to speed up here, honestly. Nothing much to see. Here, we draw actually the second worst card we could draw. It's a name, but it is going to numble very hard with what we're trying to do, as you'll find out why. The whole reason why I play Stargazer is because if I ever top deck, or rather draw Astrograph, I get to just scale it and special summon it as a free body, and then normal summon it becomes a Link 2. Here specifically, I have to go into Beyond the Pendulum instead of Electromite because there's nothing Electromite can pop. So I have to do this to get more scales to be able to Pendulum summon. Now, at this point, I forget that I'm under Pen Call, so my Pendulum zones are indestructible at the moment. And because of that, instead of going to battle phase to deal more damage, I went into Electromite thinking I could pop this, summon this, and grab a trap. So, just general bad player in general. Yeah, that's a word. That's the saying. Yep. So, and here, instead of going to Appaloosa, I went into Dark. Now, this was intentional. This was not a misplay. The reason is I wanted to clarify something for myself. I want to see if I could summon the the Dark Law, because I was rather still confused about the must be special summon clauses. Like, I thought because this card was technically properly special summoned, that is a concept in this game. And I thought once a card that has been properly summoned before, it would be free to be able to be summoned, like by a Monster Reborn effect or stuff like that. So I just wanted to try it. If I do end up losing this somehow, then it's fine. Because this is still just low D level. You don't really lose anything if you lose any games at this stage in time. So lesson learned, yeah. Must be special summon also includes the actual, text. It's where it says must be special summoned by X, not just properly summoned and stuff like that. It's a very weird ruling in Yu-Gi-Oh! That I don't know. And here I am just really Pendulum summoning 5 and just go to battle phase. And yeah, with Dark Kun as the final blow. I love him very much. Very nice one. And here we are going to show why this deck sucks. Actually, in this game, it was less of a showcase of why the deck sucks and more of... I think I did a couple of displays here. Who went first? I went first with this hand. How did I lose? How the hell did I lose? Well, let's find out, I guess. Always Albus as the first opener. Oh, I remember why I lost. Yeah. Alright, let's speed it up a little bit. So here, just standard combo, grab all these. Now here, I was actually thinking really hard on what to add with the Star Pen Graph. I was thinking of if I add a low scale, that's a safe play. But if I add this so that the Electromite can pop this and grab the Time Pen Graph trap, I basically have to pray that Astrograph, the blind draw from Astrograph is a low scale. And because of that, because of me spending so much time to think here, ashing this technically, I don't know. Usually you just want to ash the Astrograph because it represents an extra body, but ashing this here, surprisingly, is kind of annoying as well. But yeah, we just top decked the low scale anyway. Now here, I remember now. I did the biggest fuck up in my life. I activated the effect of this to discard it and target something in my Pendulum Zone whose current scale is different from its original scale and turn it into its original scale. This has never come up to me before because I almost never scale stuff like this, like Time Gazer and just stuff that don't really that don't really have its original scale. Because when the visual thing came up, it's usually scale on top of here, but when this one came up, it was scale on the right, activate effect on the left, and I was just completely out of it. I just clicked the left one because it was more smoother that way. Like the hand movement was smoother that way, and yeah, just completely dog shit play here. No matter, it's as if I didn't draw the low scale anyway. I go into Beyond the Pendulum. Now, if I hadn't fucked up, the Beyond the Pendulum could have gotten me my tuner because I couldn't get the tuner here with Oath Dragon because Beyond the Pendulum negates the effects of your scales until you Pendulum summon. So that would have been an extra Omni. But here I just pop these two, so I make space for this basically. And here I blind mate the Dweller. And there was also a point where I almost wanted to just make a Selene and special summon this back out to make an Appaloosa. And I'm glad I didn't do that because the total number of spells in both sides, fields, and graveyard are not to 3 yet. So Blinding Dweller here was not very great. Like I only have a pop basically to interact. So I just blind fire off the Dweller. Now, the funny thing is, I top deck HFD, cry about it. The funny thing is, blind making Dweller was correct. Because again, we face tier elements, even though this is like low rank, quote unquote. That's the other reason why I wasn't happy with me blind making Duel, because I wasn't sure that we would be facing top like tier decks like this, but it worked out. Grief is also another card you shouldn't be playing because like it just targets when you mill it, it just targets a banished trap, and that almost never comes up. Like it's another in archetype unexpected die, quote unquote, but it just doesn't work. That's not a card you play. Now here, I remember now why I lost the game. The biggest fuck up was here. I just blind shotgun the Dweller again, without thinking, which is what lost me the game. Because by doing this, I basically have to kill them right now. They're at 8k. I'm at top deck mode because they HFD my entire like scales and stuff away. It's impossible. I should have blind fire Dweller here because this is not like the worst case scenario for this. It is a Soliac, because if it was an imperm, they would have just chained the imperm to my Dweller and I would have died. But that's not an imperm, that's a Soliac. If that the best scenario, that's a Soliac, and this is not a tier element for the Soliac to trigger, to be able to send to the graveyard and do more stuff. So I had no reason to Dweller here. I just needed to normal summon this and deal some damage to them. Next turn, I Dweller them, stop their plays, and then I kill them. So here, I just lose, basically, because I couldn't kill them. Oh, I basically just tried to make Access Code Talker to just clear the board, and while they're under Dweller, so this tier element spell trap doesn't proc, and just hope that the two cards in their hand is not enough to kill me. But alas, it was. They either top decked or their last card in hand was a Foolish Burial Goods. And here they spend like 30 seconds to think, which, it's a no-brainer. You just send the Soliac and then add back your Rhino Heart and whatever, and I just could scoop from here. So yeah, lesson learned, even against tier elements, you have to think before you fire off your Dweller, honestly. Like, it's kind of, embarrassing loss. I had it. Annoying loss, too. This game, I want to showcase a little bit. I'm kind of like going through the games here, but that's not what I'm going to do. But this one I remember also being pretty interesting. But yeah, having Maxi, very interesting. So, here I'm trying to showcase the board that I can make. That you can make with Pendulum Magician. Standard Pendulum Blade. So again, they didn't ash the Astrograph when they should have, because that represents an extra body. I top decked the Wisdom Eye again. This time I didn't fuck up because there's no chance to fuck up. Now here this fucking Chronograph was a quote unquote lifesaver, because by destroying Wisdom Eye and proccing the Chronograph and putting an extra body out there, that was the 5th summon, I can immediately just go into an Appaloosa without committing to a Selene, which I can use for, future turns. And it's really good. Like, there's a reason why Chronograph is, limited to 1, I guess. Even though Astrograph is clearly better. So here, I just, play against toggled off Nibiru, I guess. Unless they have a Veiler follow-up, then, cry about it. Honestly, you can't play around everything. Now here, I had to copy the Electromagne's effect so I can grab my Time Pengraph spell. And here I made Busca. So I remember now, throughout this turn, my opponent constantly had a response at every, pretty much at every play and phase. Not phase, but every play. So that, which made me think that it's Numeron Wall. And if they're playing Numeron, then they're just gonna open fucking everything. They're gonna open their board breakers, their HFDs, their Kaiju / Lava Golems. They're gonna clear your whole board. So the only thing I could do is to just try to put up as many bodies as possible. So even if they lava golem these two, they still have to get through these two to like kill me. But of course they're probably gonna right Geki. Like it's like if it's against Numeron, you really just cry about it honestly because they're just gonna open everything. And worst case scenario, I still had like a double pop as well, so they had to open very perfectly, I guess, if they were indeed Numeron. But spoiler alert, they weren't. So here I just blind fire max C. So and then they ash me, and here it's a blunder because I toggled off for whatever goddamn reason, and so I didn't have a chance to Appaloosa the ash. So I let it resolve, and they're not under max C. So at least for the sake of the video, it showcases what the board alone without max C can do to stop a Scareclaw deck. I guess like it's an untiered, maybe not even a rogue strat at this point. Here I negated the Appaloosa. I negated the right chart with the Appaloosa as well because I'm a fucking idiot. I forgot that Babushka just does it anyway. Never punish, I guess. I want to learn Scareclaw and Visa someday. Visa's really hot too, and this Funko Pop is really cute. Anyway, nothing much to think about. Just normal summon this, clear this, and just go to battle phase because this is like AK sort of a little bit over. And play around, Gores and battling Box Surveiller by attacking with the lower number attack first because I'm so Duel Links brained. And yeah, that was it. This one, I rage quit it because I just not my proudest moment, but yeah, I rage quit it. This was an interesting deck too, actually. This was Drytron that was playing Vanity's Fiend because they just used their Gamma as tribute fathers to tribute summon the Vanity's Fiend out, and their board was basically Vanity's Fiend, the Ultimateness, and DPE because of course they play DPE and never draw any of their bricks, and also they had a fairy in hand to Omni the game. So that was the board I had to deal with, and I almost still won because I led with. I guess I'll try to have some visual for you guys. I opened this. I normal summoned this, and then I activated this. I scaled this. That was like the perfect battle phase clearing. But at any point in time, my opponent could just DPE pop this, DPE pop this, but they just allow me to go into battle phase and allow me to declare attack, which procs my purple poison, and they just allowed the whole thing to happen. So I basically got over their Vanity's Fiend and popped their DPE, and their Ultimateness tried to negate the purple poison, but purple poison has a very funny interaction where if this card was destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one face-up card and destroy it. Now, we already know this, right? But nowhere on this part of the effect says once per turn. And Ultimateness says negate and destroy. So if I proc this because I was attacking and it destroys itself, and I proc this and they attempt to negate this, it's gonna get destroyed and sent to the graveyard from the face-up extra deck, and then it'll proc again. So I cleared their board. I cleared their board somehow, but I fucked up. I fucked up in trying to follow up to make my own board, and I don't quite remember how I fucked up. I think I scaled the wrong thing because I don't remember the rest of the cards in my hand. Yeah, I scaled the wrong thing, and I just left myself with basically nothing and pass. And the next turn, my opponent just top decks Drytron Nova basically, and I was just so mad that I rage quit it. And yeah, I'm really sorry to that opponent, but yeah, I'll promise to never do that shit again because it's. I will say though, the fact that this game does not have an instant escape key, bring up main menu and quit, like the fact that you have to go all the way to top left to click on it, makes people all for rage quitting much easier. Like it promotes that way more. But anyway, was this interesting? No. This one was more interesting. Now I played this one out really well, and I can't believe I'm bragging like this. I don't get to brag like this often, but here I do get to do it. So, the god awful hand, but there is a max C. Now here I get max C because I sort of expected that because they had like pauses and stuff. But regardless of that max C, I guess like if they did max C me, I would have just made Electromite. But here I just made Barone and popped this to get the time pen graph because I opened this to scale. So I gave them 3 draws. Now, like the whole maxi dynamic, like even I'm still trying to master it because I was legitimately just thinking passing turn when I get maxi, but just leaving yourself naked like that is just fucking stupid. So I mean, yes, I have a maxi as well, but like I think just leaving myself naked like that is just kind of stupid. So I felt that I have to like set up this, and I feel like 3 draws is awful. Like it's more than a pot of 3. But I tried to gamble with this, and also I kind of want to just see if I would get punished for giving my opponent 3 draws like this. And I just blind maxi them. I don't know what they're playing, but if they kaiju me, then at least I get the draw. Now here they're playing Runic. Now I was very patient with activating anything because every Runic spell is a quick play spell, of course. So I just wait for them to make their first move basically. They had a bell in hand, but it's not going to do anything against us. And they added their Runic Fountain. I'm really just saving this for like any Raigeki or just Port Breakers. I mean HFD, not Raigeki. HFD because that's the only important part. And also like if they had the negation quick play, then it just deals with it anyway. So I was just really patient with this. This one they forced the issue, so I tried to negate this, and then I called it. They do have the freezing curse, and I had to scale this basically. Now this one, I basically tricked the opponent. Well, not trick, but like I was hoping the opponent would banish this to protect this from being destroyed, because not everyone knows that how Time Pen Graph works. I guess not everyone was alive in 2017. 2015, 2017, I guess. And here, because they prevented this from being destroyed, I get to send a card instead. And what's even better is they've used their Runic Quick Play spell. This triggers. But turn player priority, they have to declare triggers first, and then me, the non-turn player, gets to do my own triggers. So it resolves backwards and fizzles their Runic Fountain, and they get no draws. They drew 3 cards off Maxi. That's not a lot, quote unquote, but that's still a lot. They had 4 cards up on me, like including the draw for turn. And I top deck, Skullcrabat like a god because Pendulum is always the greatest deck there ever was. And yeah, this one they should have destroyed this honestly, but they were so greedy they just tried to do this again. Like they really should have just if the whole point was to try to protect their face and try to if anything runs over this they can pop something, then they should have really just destroyed this instead. And yeah, they just scooped here. And Runic is still, despite Kirishizu's prominence, Runic is still an annoying deck to play against, and that was my last victory with this deck. It's just 5 straight losses here. Any interesting ones I can show? I don't really remember. Let's just show one of them, I guess. At random. I think it's just like me bricking or something, because that's just inherently what happens to Pendulum decks. You inherently need 2 specific cards, IE or Scales, to special summon. And yeah, here I think I got Maxi, and that's it. Oh right, this is a weird fairy deck or something. I played one Nordic actually. Oh, this was Sofa Court. Yeah, Sofa Court. You know, very nice casual pendulum archetype, which I was kind of interested in. I may be gay, but these Sofa Courts are really nicely drawn, and also like I don't know, it's just when I was reading these cards, I just like didn't understand them, or like I just feel like it's not a good archetype, or not a strong archetype, and then yeah, I just gave up on it. Props to this person for beating me with it, especially. And yeah, I just had not much plays. I mean, I'm still like breaking their boards and stuff, but I think like they're a pendulum deck, so they're gonna you know do their stuff every single turn. Now here I misplayed because I should have just immediately like banished something, like banish one of their. Let me see. Yeah, maybe banish this because they get to link climb like that way. But I wasn't playing around this, like this fucking Underworld Goddess. One of my favorite cards as well because it's such a fun card, and yeah, they had lethal here. And I guess I'll show like how this deck can really break. I'm not sure which one it was at this point. I'm not sure if this video is going to turn out watchable even because I just don't know if it's laggy at all. This is a good hand. How the hell did I lose this? Oh, I could have went to Appaloosa here, but that would leave me with nothing. So yeah, just Nibiru or not Nibiru or bust, I guess. Oh, here I summoned to the wrong lane because I should have summoned here, so that if I draw into another scale, I get to just pen summon without really doing anything to it. Sorry, I explained that really badly. If I don't, sorry, I explained it really badly. If I did not draw a proper scale, which I did not, I drew this, which cannot combo off with any of these. I would have to go into Beyond the Pendulum. And if I had summoned that elsewhere, I could have had that stuck on the board and used anything else to go into that, and so that the arrows match up better. So I have more bodies on the board, basically. As it stands here, like, yeah, I just had to Pendulum summon the Oath Dragon, the 6, so that I at least get a Barone. Yeah, here, if I hadn't fucked up the zone placement, I would have had an extra body, basically. And I would have been able to make Verte and pass on an extra Mirror Jade. I guess, like, oh, here, this was also a misplay. I just immediately made Appaloosa here. The reason why it's a misplay is because throughout this whole turn, due to Chronograph, like special summoning like crazy, I did not normal summon at all. So if I just normal summon and make Verte that way, and then like let me see. So 3 bodies, 1, 2, 3. Normal summon the 4th body, and then I would basically have to. Would that have made a difference? Make Celine. Oh, I guess it would have made a difference. No, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make that. Oh, it would have made a difference because I didn't have another sorcery in hand. Oh, but the extra body that I was talking about with the zone placement might have made a difference. Yeah. So yeah, that might have made a difference. Extra body, so go into Celine, Appaloosa, and then 2 more bodies, make Verte. So what was I playing against? Right, I remember now. I was playing against Blunderies. Now here, like, you just never know, or at least I just never know whether or not to omni negate stuff like this. Like, if they have a Raigeki, fucking, or not Raigeki, but just board breakers in general, cry about it. But regardless, if I, alright, I'll let this play out. It's just such a frustrating fucking duel. Like Flaunderies, I'm like with how it's normal summon all the time. I'm pretty sure it was designed because Max C is legal in the OCG, and they wanted to do an anti-Max C deck, and therefore this deck existed. And also, they probably want to like have a perennially competent deck where any new players can just enter without hard losing to people, because Flaunderies deck is one of the easiest decks to play in the world. Like, straightforward at least. The more complex plays, the more complex and advanced plays, of course, I admit that does exist. But most of the time, you just draw your floodgates, draw your Robina, draw your starter, and just normal summon. It's straightforward. It is the most linear thing in the world. It teaches chain blocking and chain links really well as well. But yeah, here they ended up having the board breakers, quote unquote. Anyway, they Book of Moon my Omni, and then they just evenly match here. If I had Omni the Pot of Prosperity, maybe they didn't have a Robina in hand to do their plays, right? And here actually I scooped because I was supposed to keep the Appaloosa. At the very least with Appaloosa, I could have prevented them from chain blocking stuff from their banish zone, and prevented them, like, sort of slowed down their chain blocking. Like I basically Appaloosa negate this, whatever it is that they have in the banish zone, and then second normal summon, which is Eaglin or something, and then I negate the Eaglin so they don't get their end pen unless they open their end pen. So at the very least, I still have place, but being on the receiving end of evenly match, I forgot that clicking whatever you click means that's the thing you want to banish. So I thought that's something you want to keep, because I would think that made more sense instead of making you click a bunch. Yeah, that's another showcase display of facing against slightly better decks. Like Flaunderies is just such a like I said, I get their design philosophy, but it is just such a piss poor design of a deck. It just shits all over you, and that's it. Is this even interesting? Why did I lose this? Oh, this is a plant deck. All right, I'm not gonna show this because this is just me not understanding the matchup well enough to play through it. Really, I'm trying to show a hand where I bricked, and I'm pretty sure it was among one of these. Encoding overload. I think I have to stop the video soon. I can't edit videos. This is the same one. I can't edit videos, and I don't want the video to be unwatchable, which I have a feeling it already is. 30 minutes recording. Yeah, there it is. The brick. Yeah, you would draw hands like this. You would draw hands like, well, the Splash and Little Engine package of Albus Fusion, Verte, Albus Fusion. This is the worst brick to draw. If you draw this, like, you're only Mirror Jade passing, and like after minusing yourself for one, for the record, Lubellion requires you to discard a card just to go into Mirror Jade. For the record, and Lubellion is just the easiest goddamn imperm target in the world. So yeah, this is like, funnily enough, the worst brick to draw. And you would draw like hands like this because you're trying to tech against the meta and what's around you. So, and anti-hand trap and stuff like that. So that's why I always say Pendulum is just inherently just bad to begin with, because we need to open at least 2 scales and then the rest of the 3 cards to be good, to be able to compete even. Whereas, conventional decks like Exo Sisters like this, they just need like 1 Martha or something. Was that what that was called? Yeah, 1 Martha go into all their plays. 1 Martha and another spell, I guess, but yeah. They had more margins for error and breaking, basically. Here they use the Vedas. I normal summon this. They let me get this. I tried to have a scale, but they don't let me have a scale because I don't know. They can see my hand. I'm kidding, but like that was the right thing to do because I had nothing here. Yeah. Oh right, my internet also failed here actually because funnily enough, I don't think I feel like okay, I if I resolve the brand diffusion, I think I might still have a chance depending on what the back row deck is because a back row card is because um let me read this card because like they had like yeah this is a negation and that the other one I believe was a banish. Yeah, I remember now. The other was a banish. So I believe I still would have had a chance because if I try to go into battle phase, they're gonna banish, and I get to banish. I try to chain banish them. They chain the negate, and everything resolves. My Mirror Jade leaves the field. It's gonna destroy all of their monsters. So yeah, it's it'll destroy all of their monsters as long as Mirror Jade leaves the field, except for being shuffled back into the extra deck or being returned to the hand, quote unquote. The the other effect of the last effect of Mirror Jade is going to proc because it's in public zone and you can trigger. You can do actually I'm not sure what the ruling is, but basically as long as your Mirror Jade is not shuffled back into your extra deck, you can proc it to destroy the board when it leaves the field by an opponent's card. And yeah, that would have been my out. And depending on what they draw, that may or may not have been, in my favor. It's hard to say. I swear I didn't rage quit here. My internet just cut off, like very suspiciously, I guess. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm just greedy with splashing engines because, like, even in a hand like that, mirror having access to just a generic, outside of your own engine, outside of your own archetype, boss monster, quote unquote, is still like very viable. Like I said, like I explained everything there. I could clear the board probably, and they would have one set card, 4 cards in hand to work with, plus the draw for turn. So 4 cards to work with, 5 cards to work with rather, including the card on the field, and yeah, it's it's very unlikely I would have survived with 5 cards, but it's still like if everything they drew was like bricks or something, I might have lived to see another turn. So yeah, that's why I'm very greedy with splashing stuff. So if there's any changes I would do for the deck, it would probably be the chronograph package. Even though, funnily enough, as you've seen in this video several times, even that just top decking or having the one of chronograph in my hand would just give me a free body, and it's limited to one for a reason. Now, the reason why I'm saying I might be cutting this is because I'll be in its place. I'll probably be using Ash because we just hard lose to Max C. Even though I just showed you one of the games where I gave my opponents 3 draw with their Max C and I still won, but we really just hard lose to Max C. The worst case scenario is like our Max C plans a Babushka, which just gets impermed or whatever. It's just very easily dealt with by today's standards, at least. And so yeah, like I feel like despite me saying in the previous video that Ash is just a little bit too fair of a card, I still think it probably catches enough stuff to be worth it. I don't know. I might test it out, and maybe when I get to high D level enough in a field full of tier elements, then maybe I have to change back to something else. I'm probably also going to play tier elements as well, tier elements in Shizu as well, because that's my second favorite deck of all time. So yeah, I'll be doing videos on that as well in the future. But yeah, that's all. It's a really long video again, but thank you so much if you stuck around here until the end to listen to me not rant, but I guess blabber on about card games or games. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, and you all have a good day.